as Remo said, the objective of this webinar is to give you a clear overview of the product, because the magic is about the methodology. You know, there is multiple products capable to collect data and to retrieve data, but Pluto should be the solution for everyone because it's simple, it's fast, and it's powerful. So I will share my screen with you guys. And I will introduce this presentation by telling you that from the Hexacom website, you will be able to get every information you need later, including videos. You have a detailed presentation about the product. And about the product, I want to tell you that the first issue is connectivity. And so Pluto is a mass data aggregator product, including all SQL connectors, historians with the most famous historians of the market, including Prophecy, GE, Wonderware, Pi from Osisoft, and more. We have exclusive IoT connectivity, and I will demonstrate today the IoT connectivity with the E1 HMS products. I don't know if you know those products, but from our point of view, they are the leaders of this, and I want to show you how it works. And of course, we have the classical connections with OPC technology. We can collect data from CSV and connect to all SCADA system. So it means that the objective of the Pluto project was to, first of all, collect data from anywhere. Then I will show you how you can transform data into analytics, because as Ramos said, no one decision can be made tomorrow without having clear analytics. The time of hope is over. Hope is not a strategy, and I do believe that everyone will have something to create analytics to make decisions. And then I will show you how you can create applications, because the digital revolution will not exist with complex products. The digital revolution, for me, is how everyone, small or big, competent or not competent, can do his digital transformation. And this is the result of a strategy. And the strategy is we develop Pluto. Pluto is a product for dummies. What it means, we want clever people that don't want to spend too much time doing code, but just configuring their application. So with the product, you will be able to do reporting with automatic generation and distribution. You will be able to do dashboards with monitoring applications. You will be able to see all your data from a web application. You will be able to do data mining, means interact with the application. And even you can even see your information from a smartphone. So let's start and let me show you the product. I'm connected to a server on the IP address 213.246.57169. So what I'm going to do now, you will be able to see it from your browser in a few minutes. So keep this address in mind, and you will be able to see the results of what we will do. Pluto is client server. What it means? It means that the server is running on the machine as a service. Is running 24 hours a day, is an industrial application, robust, and to configure the server, I need to open a client application. The client application can be anywhere, because I just have to put the IP.
Dominic, I don't know if it's just from my side, but I can't understand you.
Means that we can.
Quality is very poor, Dominic. We can't understand you.
You cannot. Quality of the voice, you mean?
Yes. It's interrupted. It hacks.
I will talk slower.
Try.
Well, if
We can't understand you, Dominic. Something with your web connection wrong?
it will be okay. Hold on a second. I will.
Now it's better.
Well, I do not think so. Okay, I will try to continue. So this is the product open in front of you. And the product is made of multiple items. And the first item is the data collection part. When you want to collect data, you need to put in place, the first thing is to put in place the database connectivity. And here we provide most of the database connectivity. If you have Prophecy, if you need OZ from Pi, if you need SQL, you select your driver and you can establish a connection to the database. The user interface has been made similar for all drivers. So this user interface will be the same for everyone. In my case here, I want to establish connection with the MySQL database. So I will select the MySQL driver. I will connect to the MySQL with my authentication settings. And here I'm connected. I can do two things. I can or connect to an existing database and see all the tables of this database. So this is in case you want to connect to an historian system or to a SCADA system database, or you can create a new database. And today I will create the database of Remo. So the product integrates all controls to create database. And now I'm inside the Remo database. And this database, I can create myself the tables. Today we will do OPC technology connectivity. So I will create an OPC table to put data from OPC. I will show you an example how you can feed data from CSVs. And I'm going to create another table for an IoT. It will be E1 today, an IoT connectivity. So when you want to collect data from IoT, let's start with this. What we suggest to show you an example with the company HMS with the product called E1. E1 is a crazy product because you have multiple drivers capable to collect data from all PLCs, and it brings the data to you through the Talk2M application. This is a cloud application. Those guys are giving you access to your data during 10 days for free. So let me show you how it works. I will come to the second button and select here not an OPC, but an IoT E1 connectivity. Every customer has his account. So when you buy a product, you can register and get your account. And when you put your account authentication, you can connect. And as you can see, I'm connected to this Talk2M cloud, where if I press the refresh button, I can see my E1. And here the E1 we have here is located in Belgium. And if I want to retrieve data from this E1 that is in Belgium and when I'm here in France, I just have to tell him, guys, I want you to go to the cloud and take the data and put the data in the database IoT that I just created before. You can define the pooling rate. I want data every minute, press on save, and in 1 minute, I will have the data here coming in. You can create as much E1 connectivities you want. You can have multiple accounts, and you can feed as much as you want data in the database. The second connectivity I want to show you is the CSV connectivity. Many customers tells me, Dom, we have a PLC and the PLC can push data through a CSV driver. So what we have done, we have here in my machine an FTP folder with a lot of CSV informations. If I show you the structure of the CSV, you can see that this CSV has one header with the names of the variables and a lot of data inside. So you can get CSVs from a PLC, from an ERP system, from an Excel file. So the objective is to take those CSVs and to put them into the database, into the CSV driver, the table. For this, we have a CSV driver, and the CSV driver works this way. The system asks you which is the folder, and in our case, the folder will be the reception folder, where the product will detect any CSV and will put the content of the CSV into the database that we want. So in my case here, all the files in the reception, I will put the data into the CSV table. Before closing this, you have to indicate which delimiter you are using. And as you can see here, my delimiter is a comma. And you have to indicate the format of the date, because every CSV can have a specific date format. In my case, my date format is coded this way. I have the year first, then the months, the days, and hours, minutes, and seconds. So you need to really specify the right format of the date, and you press save. When you do that, if I take a file, if I drop it into the reception folder, Pluto will detect it, save. I did a mistake. Reception folder, FTP, and not CSV, sorry. I have to put the right folder structure. And I press save. So when I now put the CSV in the folder, Pluto detects it immediately. If you put multiple files, if you have years of data, you can copy and paste it into the reception folder. As a result, here, you have your data in your database. We have, I will show you in large, the E1 data are in the database. We collect in few seconds more than 100,000 records. And the CSV data is also in the database. We collect in few seconds more than 300,000 data. Why? Because the product is 64-bit and multi-thread. You can collect millions of data in few minutes. And automatically you will feed your database. So I show you how you can collect data from CSV files, from IoT connections, and we really support and advise you E1. Now we'll show you how we can collect data from OPC. OPC, we have inside Pluto OPC DA, which is the old OPC technology, and we have OPC UA. Let me show you the OPC UA connection. So your SCADA system, your PLC, is talking OPC UA. In my machine here, I have a Kepware OPC server. Okay, and my Kepware OPC server has a lot of information inside, and I can see those information moving. So this is an OPC connection. So what I will do with Pluto, I will indicate the IP address of my OPC server, and I will indicate the port. I browse, and I see all the endpoints, and Pluto can connect through the non-security profile or to encrypted and secure profiles. You select the connection, you press connect, and you are connected to your OPC UA. So the connection is very simple, very fast, and it will allow you to connect to everything around you. When the connection is established, what you can do, you can now define in the third button, data logging, the logging conditions. I will say for the group one that I want to log data into the OPC table. I will browse the tag of my OPC UA connection. And Pluto is very powerful because you can select the data you want from your OPC server. You can see here the communication. And you can see here on the bottom the preview of the table. To log data, you just need to click on the logging properties. So if you want to log data every second, you can do it. Pluto is 64 bits. You can log more than 30,000 points every second with a simple machine. But frankly, we don't advise you to do that because logging data every second is really stupid. What I suggest you is to do the following thing. Let's stop logging data every second. And let's go back to the database, go to the OPC table, and I will empty the table. I show you that because I show you that you have the controls to create tables, to delete tables, to empty tables. And now let's come back to the group definition. And let's say that I want to log data every hour, but also on change when I have 5% deviation on my tags. This way, you will feed your database with key values, clean and accurate values, instead of putting too much data. Because the analytics we will do after, the performance of analytics will depend on the database you will do. Let's make a second group. And for that group, I will log data in the same table. And I will select this time not only events, only Boolean tags, moving from 0 to 1. I can select the one I want. And tell the system I want to log positive and negative age only. And I want to log data points every day at midnight. So this way, the system will log only on and off value, positive and negative age, and will force also logging all the data points every day at midnight. So as you can see, logging data with Pluto is very simple. You have multiple methodologies, multiple technologies to do that. Now, let's see the next step. I'm connected to my system. You put in place connections with your database. You can get data from your SCADA system, from your historians, from whatever you want, or you can log data yourself. Let's see how you can transform those data into analytics. Pluto has a unique application called the Smart Browser. The Smart Browser here will detect all database connections that we have into the system. So in my project, I have one MySQL connection to the database Pluto demo and another database connection with the Remo database that we just did together. So this means that Pluto can support multiple connections. So if you have different databases around you, you can connect all together. Because what we will do with this, when you have, for example, the values from the IoT, we are collecting data from the HMS office in Belgium. We have, for example, here the temperature in, the temperature out. So this is the temperature in Brussels. You have the solar radiation. So you have a couple of informations. So what you have to do, you have to drag and drop your values from left to right into what we call the smart browser. You can create folders. And here, this folder, I will call it Brussels. I will put the tags inside the Brussels. This will be the solar radiation. As you can see, you can rename your tags. Why? Because you notice, probably like me, that your tags oftenly have crazy names. And those names are the blocking point of all applications to do analytics. If you ask customers why they are not able to do analytics from their machines, from their plant, from their building, it's because oftenly the names of the tags into the systems are crazy names with tag names that you do not understand. The smart browser will help you to select the tags you want, and you can rename them. This is my AC of floor number 1. So we, instead of presenting the data on a stupid way, we present data on a clean way for you guys to be able to do whatever you want to do later. So how can I transform data into analytics? You have here a module called statistics, and that module allows you to create new values, transformation of values. If, for example, I want to calculate what is the energy consumption difference between today and last year, I have here the capability to create an expression. So this expression is using resources. I will show you what is a resources. Imagine that I have a factory, and that factory have inside what we call a production. So I have here in my factory, I have a value called production. I want to know the production of last month. So what the system allows you to do, it allows you to create a value called the production of last month. You can also create a new resource, which is, for example, you have an energy meter, and you ask what is the consumption of this energy meter for last month. So I have what we call two queries. And the customer wants to know the efficiency of his plant. So what he wants to do, he wants to divide the energy by the production. So for this, he has to create the queries and then double click to select. If I click 2 times into my expression, I will ask the energy consumption for last month. I will ask now the production of last month. And then I can transform that into watts or in kilowatts. I have a mathematical functions available with all mathematical instructions available for me. I can create the KPI of the plant because I have two queries, and this can be calculated when I want. In my case, I will calculate this every month. So I will make a trigger information every month. And here I will schedule that monthly on the first day of the month at 5 o'clock in the morning. My KPI will be calculated. So this calculation should be now, I have to log the data, the result of my KPI into a database. So I will create a new table called KPI into my project. And here in my system, I will tell to my KPI plant, every month do the calculation of the energy divided by the production and put the result into this new KPI database. You press save, and now every month, and we will have to wait the first day of next month to get the result. As you can imagine, we will have this new information coming in. For those that don't want to wait next month, you have a manual mode. And here, for example, you can say, guys, I want the playback. I want to calculate the analytics of May 1st. I want to calculate the analytics of April 1st. You can go to the past and you can calculate the past values. So again, you have an automatic mode, but you have also a manual mode where you can select the dates that you want for the past. And you can ask the system to calculate them. And if I go now to my database, I have here in my KPI my performance for March, April, and May. So the transformation is, in fact, the combination of the SQL queries into resources. And here you can define as much as you want resources. And the math functions that we provide with the product. So here we have, for example, a couple of examples of math functions. And for those who wants to know what exactly we can do in terms of math functions, you press F1, you open the documentation, you go to the product documentation, and you will see here that you have in the system a powerful mathematical engine where you can put all math functions that you have in C# and without any limitations. So that's why we can use Pluto for scientific analysis if you wish. As a result, if I go back to my smart browser, I will see that here I have now the KPI plant. I drag and drop it, and now this new tag, this tag related to a transformation, is now available into my smart browser. So this is about data collection and the data transformation. Now it's time to change and to go to the report edition module. This is where you will create your applications. And Pluto is a very interesting product because you can create, and I will put it in full screen. You can create documents, reports in A5, A4, A3 format, in portrait or in landscape. And you have here a user interface that is very similar to what you use with PowerPoint. It's based on Microsoft technology. So if you want a landscape report, a portrait report, A3, A5, you can just select the size. So imagine that I want to make a reporting for A4. You have here on the right side a grid, and this grid is a grid of properties. And this grid, for example, allows us to define a background. Background, we provide a lot of backgrounds with the product. So you can select the background you want. So as a result, you see here my background. You can put objects, and this is the objects to do your analysis. So if you want to put your company logo, you have a very friendly system that allows you to select images. You can define multiple properties because the system is based on WPF technology. You can define the thickness of your object. You can define the color of your object. You can even define the background color. So all the properties are on the right here. You can define the corners. So what is a corner? A corner is, for example, I want to transform a rectangle into a circle, and I can even adjust every angle and ask the system to design this as I wish. So I can do the same for the thickness. I can adjust the thickness of every object. So graphically speaking, you have a state-of-the-art product to do something nice. You can log your objects. You can put titles. You can put the date, because a report without a date, you will have something missing. So if I want to put the current day, I will put the current day. I can display the start time, the end time of both of them. I can adjust the colors. It's really a friendly tool to make something fast and nice. So now let's see why Pluto is unique in terms of analytics. Imagine that I have to extract data from a database. I have an object like a bar graph. I have objects like pies. And we are not here in a SCADA system. We are here into a product that will retrieve analytics. So the configuration is very easy. You have here to select the data you want. For example, I imagine that I have into a building. So I will go to my building here. I have 3 meters. A meter for the electricity, meters for the heat system, and for water. So I can ask the system to retrieve for each meter a specific query, a specific information, and you have here all the functions needed into the automation world to extract those values. So if you need the average value, the maximum, the minimum, if you need the sum, if you need the duration of an event, you have everything available here. For consumptions, we have a function called index deviation that will give us the consumption of this meter for the day we want. And we can here duplicate that and ask for the second meter. And we can duplicate that and ask for the third meter. So I have my 3 meters. I want the consumption, and here the second thing I want to do is I want to select the period. Do you want the consumption for the year, for the week, day by day, for the year, month by month? You have something very interactive to define your query through this grid. So let's show you an example. I want for last week the values every day. I can adjust the format of my scale because here everything is adjustable. You can define for the scale. You can put the units, and so you will have your units. You can adjust the title. So our objective with Pluto is to do something very configurable. So you are developing, and if you want to try what you are doing is correct, you have a button called refresh here. When I press the button, it gives me the result. So you can see here my consumption of my 3 energies. Pluto allows you to do the following thing. You can adjust this. You can copy paste. You can represent it on multiple ways, because on the right side here, you can say, instead of having columns, I want to display everything on stack columns. So you have a very modern tool. And now, instead of representing in columns, I'm representing the result in stack columns. You can change. You can even select areas or stack areas. So in that case, everything will be represented in the stack area. But more interesting, the objects allows us to do intelligent things. For example, customers would like to know the consumption between today and yesterday. Compare consumption between 2 different periods. So imagine that I have an energy consumption for last week, and I want to add the same. I want to add the same energy consumption, but here I can change the period with this option here, and I want to compare it with the current week. So in green, I will have last week, and in orange or in red, I will have the current week. If I press save, I can see that my graph is able to retrieve information from different periods, last week and current week. I can even do the following thing. I can adjust the legends, last week, this week, and I can, if I want, extract what we call an expression. So the third item will be the expression, and the expression we will do will be something very difficult to do. We will do 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is the gap between last week and this week. When I press refresh, I can see that I have the gap between both. If you want to display the value, you have an option to display the value. You can adjust the representation. And here, for example, I want to see the value of the consumption of last week and this week into a nice graphic. You can even hide last week and this week. I can hide the result to just see the result of the gap between them. So the fact that we can directly into the object manipulate values together and put them into expressions is very interesting for customers that want to, for example, let me show you another example. I have this time here. I have my energy consumption, and in the second item, I will put my production. I want to see my production. But the information that I'm interested to see, I don't want to see the consumption and the production. What I want to see the performance. And the performance is my energy divided by my production. So I'm showing you those examples to show you that it will be very fast and very easy to extract analytics directly from objects. I want here the result into velvet color. I want to see the value. Okay, so as you can see here, I see the performance of my plant for last week. The performance, I want to see it in watts, because in kilowatts I don't see enough, so I will multiply by 1000 and I will adjust my scale and put watts instead of kilowatts. And then I can see here the performance on for all week long. Another example I want to show you is this is typically what we can do for plants, for industries, where people want to see the performance of their plants. Let me show you what we can do for buildings. Buildings, we have oftenly the following case. We have an energy consumption and we have a temperature. And let's say that the temperature is the outside temperature. Well, the outside temperature is missing here. So what I will do, I will come back to the smart browser and I will create a new value. I need the outside temperature. So I go to my database and here I should have in the temperatures my outside temperature. I do my connection. So back to the report. I can select now my outside temperature and I want the average value. So I will have the consumption and the average value for every day. And I can put this in two scales because we do not mix energies and degrees. And I can show that into a line. So as you can see here, if I display the chart, the second scale, if I refresh, this is your energy consumption and this is your temperature outside. In buildings, people need to do what we call linear regressions. Linear regressions are directly available directly into the object. The linear regression is to see how, for example, my energy was affected by my temperature. Because for sure, you are consuming more or less depending on the outside temperature. If you want to divide this by the square meters of your building and put this in watts instead of kilowatts, you can, here in your expression, manipulate this. What you have to do next, you have options for those who wants to see the value and what we call the equation with the R2. This is something really related to linear regressions. You can hide the two first charts and see the linear regression. When you refresh directly, you have your regression done, where you can see how your temperature is impacting your energy consumption. So, as you understood, the product allows you to create a lot of analytics based on that methodology. You have tons of objects. You have objects value to display a value on the screen. That value can be represented in gauge, into objects, and as you can see here, and the methodology is always the same. You have to define in the grid your data, the function you want to extract, and the period that you want to get the analytics. You have tables. Pluto provides you a lot of tables. What kind of tables can I do? You have tables to do, for example, analytics. You have multiple temperatures, and you want to have the average, the minimum, the maximum value of each temperature, and you want to sort them on ascending or descending mode. So in one quick object, you can have the list of temperatures in 1 second. If you want to see, if you are into a batch process, if you are producing units, the product is managing what we call batch periods. And so people can see for each batch how long the batch duration was, what time it starts, and you can see for each batch the production and all the KPIs that you need to know about your batch production. You have histograms, and we saw a couple of, I show you a couple of examples about this histogram with multiple periods, with regression, with batch, because here I have a batch graph. You have pies. So the pie object is here, and the definition is still the same. You come and you define for each object the tag, the function. And that's why we can compare here multiple temperatures together. So the configuration is very friendly. And when you have, you know all these objects, at the end of the day, you can create report templates like this for a building. So here I have 1 year of consumption where I have analytics every month where I can see my consumption and my performance. You can have, if you have a plant, if you have a production, here you can see in this example that the company has 2 boilers and is producing units and is, of course, producing steam, and the performance is how much steam I need for my units. So this is the performance of the plant. So this is what we call a report template for building or for industry. You can define as what you want. So to make this a report, you have to come now to this report configuration grid and define the execution rules. You can execute that report every day, every month, everything you want, because in fact, again, the scheduler here is totally configurable. You can define every second, minute, and hours conditions to create reports. You can do daily reports, you can do weekly reports, you can do monthly reports, and everything is simple to configure. Those reports can be distributed by mail because you have an emailer inside. You have to put your SMTP server. So like this, and put the list of recipients that will receive. You have a contact list where you can put the emails of everyone. And at the end, you just have to click and put a subject, reporting of the months. And you will receive that mail directly in your mailbox. So you have directly in the grid the possibility to execute automatically and to distribute automatically. So you will generate reports for everyone, internal reports, reports for organizations outside, for your suppliers, for your customers, for everyone. So this is the reporting tool. But more than this, Pluto is also a product for dashboards. What it means that here you can create not a report, but a dashboarding application. So in that case, instead of selecting A4, you will select a screen format for monitoring applications. You will put a nice background image, like this one. So you define a screen format, and then you will put your objects inside this graphs. Okay, and you will do exactly the same as what you used to do. But the result will be a bit different. The result will be a monitoring application. And let me show you a couple of examples of dashboards for monitoring. Here I have for a building the consumption for the day, the month, and the year. I have here in the dashboard the heat map of the building. And the idea is the customer wants to see that into a screen in the front, in the lobby of the building, in the desk of the production manager. So imagine that he has a fab and the energy manager or the production manager of the fab wants to see the KPI of the production. He will define the monitoring that he wants. So this is made with the Pluto object, so everyone is configured with the grid, okay? And at the end, what you can do, you can go here to what we call the monitoring mode, and you can define your monitoring. Didi Dominique Vias is my monitoring. I will go and I will see here all the monitoring that I did here. I will define my list. And I can put as much as I want dashboards, and those dashboards will be displayed on the screen, and I can define the duration of each of them. And at the end of the day, I will have multiple dashboards with multiple different monitorings defined. And what we suggest you to use the Pluto web application. So Pluto web application, if you remember, I give you the address 213.246.57169. So if you put on your browser 213.246.57169, you will be connected to my project. You have to put here the server application Pluto web. So you can try with your own browser to connect to this IP address 213.246.57169 Pluto web, and you will be in the Pluto web portal because Pluto comes with the Pluto web application inside. If you put user Pluto, user is the login, Pluto the password, and you sign in, you will have this. You will see here a reporting application. And here you will be able to see on the left the list of reports that we have into the project. So it's only the reporting applications that we have here created into the project, those ones. So you will see them from your browser, and because Pluto is generating reports every day for the production, you will see in 1 second, in 1 click, all the reports of your plant. If you go to the building, you will do the same. So I show you a couple of examples of different reports generated by the system and available from Pluto Web. One thing that you have to notice is in the bottom right, we have a button called dual view. Dual view, I can drag and drop and put two reports together. So let me show you about the production. I want to see this production plant and I want to see this production. And so then I can compare two reports together because I have here January 10 and February 10. So I can compare the two reports together because comparing is something important for analytics. To make decisions, guys, you need to see deviations. Users can zoom. You have zoom buttons here. But when you zoom, you can even move. The two reports are independent. If you want to link them, you have a locker here. And when you activate the locker, so you can zoom and you can move the two reports together. So this is the reporting application where people directly they are developing and they can see their reports over the web from any browser worldwide. But this is about the reporting. About the monitoring, you need to know that we have defined here multiple users with different username and password, and the username and password Pluto user and Pluto will allow me to see the reporting only. If I want, I can leave with the logout button, and this time I will log with admin and Pluto. So a different name and different password, admin Pluto, and this time I have reporting, so I can see the same as before. But I have also now monitoring available. And the monitoring available, all the monitoring that I did here into the project are available from the web. So what happens if I click on it? If you click on it with your own browser, Pluto Web support today unlimited clients. That's why we are 70 today in this webinar. And something I would like to see if all of you with your browser connected to my server in the cloud, you can watch the monitoring of this application. The big interest of the web is I can have the monitoring of one site, but I can launch the monitoring of my plant, of my city, of my building. And so the crazy thing with the web is I can watch here 3 different monitorings from 3 different applications, can be buildings, can be machines, can be cities, can be plants. So the client server in 64-bit technology allows me to get access to my data anywhere. Okay. So you will notice one thing. You will notice that we came here to the monitoring application to click to see it. But as you can see, we have also here the URL. So if you copy the URL and if you give it to your customer and you paste it, your customers can have directly access to the monitoring because each URL is encrypted. So you are the administrator, so you can access to Pluto Web and you can do whatever you want. But if you just want to send the monitoring to a customer, just give him the link. No need to give him access to the platform, just give him the link. Okay. If you use Chrome, Chrome is fantastic because F11 you can put in full screen and you will see that you have a top quality. And you can be in vacation, you can be working, you can be everywhere. On any device, you will have access to your dashboards of your plant. Now I want to show you something live. Pluto allows you to also create what we call mobile applications. Let me show you an example. This dashboard has a smartphone size. So it has not been created in A4, but for smartphone applications. So let me show you. So imagine that you have a collections of dashboards for smartphones already. What you can do from Pluto Web, you have here mobile monitoring. If you click on the button add, you can create your own monitoring. So I will create Remo's monitoring and password Pluto. The objective of this application is you can define your own icons. You can put your title. So you're creating a mobile application yourself. And here in the report button, you have the list of all the reports made for smartphones available. So here, for example, I want for my building the energy consumption. So I'm making the link between my application and my report. So this is the energy stick. Second one, I have a factory and I want to see the OEE of my plant, the efficiency. So I come here, I have here the efficiency. So you can create as much as you want. Imagine that you have a pool and you want to know the temperature of the pool, or you can create your own mobile applications very fast. Let's put another one. I will put a city, and for the city, I will put energy production. You press the button save, and you have now a new mobile application with the direct URL ready to be used. So if you have a smartphone, if you copy that URL and you display it on your smartphone, you can access this application immediately in live. With Chrome, Chrome is nice because you have, if you press F12, with Chrome, you can here select a responsive application for the smartphone you want. Okay, F12, and you can emulate a smartphone. I will put Pluto, and I can see my 4 applications. When I click on the first one, I see my building consumption. OEE, I see my plant. I can see my pool. So a product like Pluto, we at Texacom strongly believe that the digital revolution is about the methodology. If you can extract your data and see your data everywhere, and if everyone can do it because he's not an expert, because the product is simple and configurable to do all this, reporting, monitoring, mobile analytics, I think that you will have a good start for your revolution. Now, let me show you the last application we did with Pluto Web. The same product now has here a web marker. This is a new feature that we have developed the last year. where people can see on Google Maps their planes. So here you have in the reporting section a button with a map, and when you are here, you can see all your machines, you can see all your planes, and in one quick view, you can go and see the OEE performance of the plant, and you have a button here where you can directly play the monitoring of your plant. So this is a new feature that we have implemented when people have multiple machines over the world, and in one quick view, they want to see the status. Okay, we suggest them to use Pluto map, Google map. As you can see here, we have 7 sites. If you click on the markers here on top, you can hide to focus on the, if you want to focus on the red ones, you can remove the other colors and just focus on this. And you can go there and you can watch for every machine the status in real time. So, as an introduction of the product, I think that it's enough for today. I hope that you understood that the product is user-friendly and has a lot of capabilities of data collection, of data transformation, and applications. This is through this very intuitive studio. Basically, Remo is representing us in all German countries because Hexacom is focusing on R&D and trying every day to develop the best products we could. So if you are interested, I think that you should talk to Remo and set an action plan. And Remo, please, I think that I finish my presentation. You can make your conclusion.
Thank you, Dominic, for your presentation. I'm just sharing my screen back.
I will stop sharing mine.
So now, do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So at the end, I would just show you up possible next steps. But first, I would like to mention that Pluto has more than 800 international references already. So it has a huge installed base all over the world. And as a next step, I will of course send you the recorded webinar. I missed the recording of the first slide, but I will include the slides together with the recording, so you could just go back and look again if you are interested in some specific parts. We can offer you an individual webinar to discuss your specific requirements. Just contact me and we will set up a webinar. And I can also tell you that Hexacom is a quite flexible company. So if a feature is missing and it really makes sense, it's absolutely possible to discuss. So always open for a voice of customer.
Yeah, then well, I think that maybe what I can state here is we don't have factories, we don't have buildings. And the R&D department is here to listen to the customer requirements. Pluto is the result of the customer requirements. So if you have a clever idea, you are welcome to share it with us. If a stupid idea, you can keep it for you.
Thanks for the input, Dominic. So we have different offers which you can normally not find in the price list. So for you to try. So there is a trial version available for 40 days. We provide you an hour free support if you start working with that. But there are also other possibilities. So there is a limited offer for you for a 25 variables license for Pluto live and web report for 500 Swiss francs. And it includes 3 hours of remote support as you need. It must not be in one piece, but could be in different pieces. So we support you to install, we give you an introduction, you make your trials at your own. Then you get another hour where you just get information, and so we just help you to climb your horse. And
well,
yes,
let me tell you about this 25 tag license. This is something that we develop with E1 resellers over the world, because there is also, the digital transformation people need to practice. And it's not always easy to make a decision. And so we want to encourage people to do it, to try it. And during the HMS FlexThink events about the promotion of the IoT technology, and we were part of them, because there is no revolution without data collection and data application. So there is a combination of the two technologies. We decide to put a very low price to help people to start doing this by themselves, because there is no better way to learn than to do it. So that's why you have this license of 25 tag is not part of the pricing, is a specific promotion for a limited time, because we have to support you and to help you to take off. So if you're interested, this proposal is valid for a month, 1 month. We cannot make it for all year long. So, but if you're interested, I think I really advise you to try it. And more than the 40 days license, this 25 tag license is a permanent license. You pay the fee one time forever, and you can try everything you want and do everything. Sorry for being long.
oh, no problem. Thanks for the input. But that means exactly that's the point, to allow small steps at a limited financial budget in order to support you on a proof of concept without having a big risk. And also this kickoff workshop, which could then be added on kind of a trial or a small license. I mean, it's just a kind of a help you for a small amount of money, really, to do a nice proof of concept or even a project. And if you are continuing using our support, you can just request as much as you need, kind of for a 150 Swiss francs an hour if your license is under active maintenance and support. So this is kind of learning by doing, which we have seen this is very effective for people coming into a product, not just going in a 3 days training and then going back home, but just having a concrete project and just doing it, and just get support as needed in a package. And we also offer kind of design services. So if you say, okay, from a technical point of view, everything is done, but my report or my dashboard is not really looking nice. So there is an offer where we could help you just creating a nice looking template, which you can reuse then for your own purposes or for your customers. So that's I'm also on the end. You'll find my contact dates here also in the email when I send you the recordings away. So please free to contact me if you have any questions or remarks.
Fantastic. I would like to end this presentation by mentioning that there is a company in Switzerland called Energy Management, where we are doing since 6 years now a lot of applications with Pluto into the energy sector. And we were very glad to close with Energy Management in Geneva, one of the major deals of the company for the Olympic organization, because the headquarters of the Olympic organization, all the energy management is done by Pluto. So if you have a chance to discuss with them, maybe they can show you what they have done for this customer. And Remo, I want to state also that I was very glad that last week you closed with Bouygues Real Estate, a major deal for the company. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Please unmute your microphone if you have an immediate question now.
Yes.
So I'm still open for questions.
Yes, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have a few minutes with you, no problem.
Okay, so seems not to be the case. So thank you very much for your attendance to the webinar today. It was a huge group, so really happy to see that and hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.